Some episodes may contain graphic content or sensitive topics, while all episodes will consistently feature offensive language and absurd speculations from two opinionated women on a spiritual journey just trying to figure shit out. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Fox Sisters. You're listening to the Hydesville podcast. I'm Heather, and my co-host is Sharon.
Hey!
And we're your Midwest Mystics.
Get ready to hear some fucking gossip.
I can't wait for this part because it's juicy now.
Yeah.
It's good.
Right.
This is the stuff I've been waiting for.
Hell yeah. Let's get into it.
Let's get started. All right. Brace yourself.
Oh, shit. Let's hear the tea.
So in 1885, Leah published The Missing Link in Modern Spiritualism, A History of the Fox Family and the Spiritualist Movement. Another one of those long-ass titles, yep. Right? And this is 1885 now.
Okay.
This all started in 1848.
Right.
So we're talking 37 years later.
Yep.
She is publishing a book.
So she's in her... Because she was 35
She
back
was 35, so
in
she's got to be in her 70s now.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
According to recent biographer Barbara Weisberg, the book is a mixed bundle of distortions and truths, with a focus on events that highlighted Lee's own role.
Wait, so who is this lady that's saying this?
So, a biographer.
A biographer, okay.
So this created friction with Maggie and Kate, who felt that their older sister, having benefited from their abilities while largely avoiding the criticism aimed at them, was once again leveraging their fame for her advantage.
I can understand that sentiment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, shit, at this point, they had to be police escorted out of place. They've probably been called fakes and liars their whole lives by everybody in society. They're probably pariahs. Mm-hmm. And they're being shipped off to be tested by all these different fucking men and in the limelight when they probably... I mean, they did technically ask to be. They're the ones who went public with it. But I imagine that would be very frustrating.
Right.
Because now their sister is going to be profiting off of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That same year, Kate relocated to New York City with her sons, where she continued to hold private sittings and hosted a weekly public gathering. She was arrested for being intoxicated at home and charged with neglecting her children.
Aww.
Yep. They were then aged 14 and 12, and they were placed in a juvenile asylum.
Oh my God, and I'm sure they went through hell.
So... now we're getting into some family tea here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When Maggie, visiting friends in England, learned about this, she sent a cable claiming to be from a brother of the boy's deceased father, asserting legal guardianship and instructing that the children be released to Kate. The boys were returned to Kate, and Kate fled with them to England. Yeah. And a cable is really a diplomatic messages between an embassy and the capital.
Sure.
So really like a telegraph.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she was like, how dare you return them to her mother, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
And she impersonated Kate's
husband's brother.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be shocked that that's all it took for them to say, okay. But I am.
Right. That wouldn't work nowadays, but yeah. Maggie and Kate both suspected that Lee had orchestrated Kate's arrest out of spite and to assert control over her and her children.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the third
Fox
sister's a little shady.
Uh-huh. At the same time, the sisters were facing increasing criticism from within the spiritualist movement they had helped establish. Conservative middle-class spiritualists were embarrassed by their drinking and uneasy about the movements associated with the radical ideas and widespread fraud.
I am going to just go ahead and take a shot in the dark here and say the fact that they were women probably lended a lot of credence to that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That is sad.
Mm-hmm.
These poor girls.
So, according to that biographer, Barbara Weisberg, this context explains the sisters' public distancing of the practices that made them famous.
Right.
So, trying to position herself in the most respectable light, Kate criticized the fanatic who hire halls and preach universal belief in everything. She remained a firm believer in some manifestations. She asserted, but not in all. Meanwhile, Maggie issued a statement to the New York Herald, which appeared under the headline, "The Curse of Spiritualism." In it, she condemned fraudulent mediums and fanatics who accepted everything uncritically to the detriment of both their sanity and their finances.
I mean, I get what she's saying. Like, you absolutely should never just accept everything at its base. You should think about it critically before you make your examination and form an opinion. Critical thinking.
Yeah.
But is she saying that they're entirely fake? Is that what she's... Or is she just kind of saying, like, people are just believing without...
Yeah, she's saying, because they're such fanatics that they're just willing to believe anything.
Sure.
And that she's saying you can't believe everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Weisberg suggests that both women came to attribute their troubles as much to members of the spiritual movement as to the outsiders.
Yeah.
Which is true. Everybody in the spiritual movement wanted more and more and more from them. And then the outsiders were continually criticizing them.
Yeah, they make assholes in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, and fucking everybody has one.
Make sure you wash yours.
Yes. Maggie implied that the pressure to perform successfully in such an environment could drive even an honest, sober medium towards alcohol or deception.
I believe it. Well, and I am sorry, but if you're getting messages from the other side, truly, genuinely, that would drive me fucking crazy.
Well, and you have to think, if you are, and you're not trained, you don't know anybody else that has this talent, how do you turn it on and off?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And, like, I doubt that they can control what's coming through. I mean, granted, they're doing the rapping, but, like, God, I don't know. I think even, like, we've talked with Diana about, like, how do you do this? Have you ever seen somebody's, or, like, given somebody a reading where you were like,
right,
this is traumatic? And, like, shit, it would drive me to drink. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. You know, like, now we have resources where you can go to therapy and you can talk about things.
Barely,
right.
Unfortunately. If you get on a wait list for 2 years.
After Kate was criticized in Light, which is the leading British spiritualist publication, Maggie spoke to the reporter from the New York Herald, placing the blame squarely on Lee and their mother, Margaret Fox.
Mother.
So this is, quote, this is what she said.
This is what
Maggie said to the New York Herald. Because there was an article written in The Light, which is a British spiritual publication, that Kate openly criticized the article.
Okay.
So then Maggie went on to speak to the New York Herald.
Okay.
And this is what she said. When spiritualism first began, Kate and I were little children. And this old woman, my other sister, made us her tools. Mother was a silly woman. She was a fanatic. I call her that because she was honest. She believed in these things. We were not innocent little children. What did we know? We grew to know too much. Our sister used us in exhibitions, and we made money for her. Now she turns upon us because she's the wife of a rich man, and she opposes us both whenever she can. Oh, I am after her. You can kill sometimes without using weapons, you know. Oh, yeah. The tea.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
God, that pisses me off because that means that her sister just took advantage of them from the get-go. And then the minute that she found somebody who was above her means, she literally just, like, dumped them like yesterday's garbage.
Well, and then she goes on to write a book about it and makes
yeah.
money from it, right?
Oh, hell.
Mm-hmm. She went on to say that she knew communication with spirits was impossible, having repeatedly and unsuccessfully trying to contact her husband, Elijah Kane. She then demonstrated the raps to the reporter, which he heard beneath the table, along the door, and vibrating across the floor. But she insisted they were the result of trickery, which she intended to reveal.
Oh, shit.
So now she's saying,
this was all fake.
this is all fucking fake. All fucking fake. So there is another article that is written by Edward White, and it is called In the Joints of Their Toes.
What?
Interesting, right? I'm just throwing that out there as we talk about this scandal.
Okay.
On the evening of October 21st, 1888, Maggie appeared at a widely publicized event at the New York Academy of Music. Here she read a statement that had appeared that morning in the New York World. Kate was in the audience. Maggie affirmed that during the 1848 Hydesville disturbances, she and Kate had been innocent children aged 8 and 5. I'm going to point this out later, but she's saying they were 8 and 5, but her mom's statement
said they were older.
15 and 12.
I was just going to ask about that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, because I noticed that discrepancy too.
Right.
And I was like, so are they pretending like they're younger so that way they won't be held as accountable? Because 15 and 12, you would have the ability to know right from wrong.
True.
And you would presumably have the ability to say yes or no.
True. At 8 or 9, you also know right from wrong. Or
right.
should. But I can see how in their minds they think that saying that they were younger might make them like less responsible for it.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm thinking, is they're trying to make themselves younger.
Right.
So that way they don't see...
I personally think no matter what their fucking age was, if they were 12 or they were 8, what are they supposed to do? This is their family.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sister is the one that encouraged it.
Right.
And the mom was just like, holy shit, this is awesome. Like,
yeah.
I have daughters, like, you know, and so they probably saw the excitement in their mom.
And wanted to
just please her, make her happy. Like,
right.
all kids want to do that with their parents, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to read the statement of what she says.
It's still Maggie, right?
So this is Maggie.
Okay.
And she is giving a speech, and Kate is in the audience.
Okay.
She says, "We were very mischievous children and sought merely to terrify our dear mother. When we went to bed at night, we used to tie an apple to a string and move the string up and down, causing the apple to bump the floor. And we would drop the apple on the floor, making a strange noise every time it would rebound. Mother listened to this for a time. She would not understand it and did not suspect us as being capable of a trick because we were so young. At last she could stand it no longer, and she called the neighbors in and told them about it. It was this that set us to discover a means of making the raps more effectively. I think when I reflect back that it was the most wonderful discovery, a very wonderful thing that children should make such a discovery, and all through a desire to do mischief only." There were so many people coming to the house, and we were not able to make use of the apple trick except for when we were in bed and the room was dark. Even then, we could hardly do it. So the only way was to rap on the bedstead, the bed frame.
Okay.
And then Maggie continued that the two girls discovered a new way to make the raps after Lee had taken them to stay with her in Rochester. So she was like, okay, now you can do it this way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. According to Maggie, the girls took part in exhibitions put on by Lee in which they responded to covert signs made by her to know when to rap yes or no into response to questions.
Wow.
So all those times, those experiments, or when they were at that like convention and did like the 3 days that they had to be escorted out.
Yeah.
She was secretly feeding them.
But how, if they were on pillows with their dress tied to their ankles, how did they make that rapping noise?
I don't know. So Lee made up to $150 a night, which she kept for herself.
Of course she did. What a bitch.
So $150 in 1884 is equivalent to $5,000 today.
Wow.
$5,000 a night.
What?
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, that is.
They then toured the U.S., led around like lambs, drawing immense crowds. With regard to the possibility of spirits surviving death, Maggie said, is the way we began. First as a mere trick to frighten Mother, and then when so many people came to see us children, we were ourselves frightened, and for self-preservation forced to keep it up. No one suspected us of any trick because we were such young children. We were led on by my sister purposely and by Mother unintentionally. We often heard her say, is this a disembodied spirit that has taken possession of my dear children? That encouraged our fun, and we went on. Maggie went on to explain the new method of producing raps after Lee brought them to stay in Rochester.
Okay.
So now this is her words. She's explaining.
Okay.
My sister Kate was the first to observe that by swishing her fingers, she could produce certain noises with her knuckles and joints. And that the same effect could be made with your toes. And remember the title of that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like trying to crack my knuckles right now, but like,
I don't know.
Once they crack once, I can't do it again.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they were like double jointed.
They could have been double jointed.
Yeah, I don't know. Finding that we could make raps with our feet, first with one foot and then with both, we practiced until we could do it easily when the room was dark. Like most perplexing things when made clear, it is astonishing how easily it is done. The rapping was simply the result of a perfect control of the muscles of the leg below the knee, which govern the tendons of the foot and allow action of the toe and ankle bones that is not commonly known. Such perfect control is only possible when a child is taken at an early age and carefully and continuously taught to practice that muscle which grew stiff in later years. A child at 12 is almost too old. With control of the muscles of the feet, the toes may be brought down to the floor without any movement that is perceivable by the eye. The whole foot, in fact, can be made to give rappings by the use only of the muscles below the knee. This, then, is a simple explanation of the whole method of the knocks and raps. So they're saying, like, they practice, like, flexing their feet and their toes.
Yeah.
So much that they built muscles to where they could tap. I'm tapping my foot right now, and I don't see how that's even possible.
Yeah.
How... But I don't know. I also haven't been trained as a young girl to do it. But you think of, too, though, like young people when they're ballerinas, because those ballet shoes, the way they are,
Yes.
like their feet form a certain way.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know how old you are when you, like, your bones are fully developed, but I know that children have greater dexterity, greater flexibility.
Right?
Like, and then stuff grows in, and that's how you lose those things as you get older.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine if you learn how to control and do something at an early age, you would be able to.
It sounds impossible to me.
I know. I feel like them being able to rap and tap with their toes seems more impossible to me than communicating with the spirit.
I completely agree. And obviously, like, we weren't there, but, like, I mean, they hate their fucking sister.
Yes.
So is this their way of getting revenge at the end?
You know, yeah, that's what I thought too. Like, you know, yeah, because they're really pissed off at her, especially because
and they're alcoholics now.
They're alcoholics.
They've probably
been
through trauma.
The one is a widow. Well, the other's a widow. They're both widows. The one supposedly got her children taken away because of her sister.
Right.
So, fuck yeah, I would hate that fucking cunt too.
Right, and then, like, on top of it, there's the public scrutiny.
Right.
And they wanted to distance themselves from it, and a really good way to do that would be to claim that it was fake.
Right.
And it's just a little added bonus that they can blame their sister.
Uh-huh.
But,
but
the fact that she was making that much money, first of all, and not giving them any of it?
I know, which is fucking insane. Because if you think about that, remember other people were sponsoring them to get education. And she's like living high off the hog here.
Right.
It's crazy.
Oh, the tea.
So this is something else that Maggie goes on to say about the subject of whether spirits survive after death. She says, as far as spirits are concerned, neither my sister nor I thought about it. I know that there are no such thing as the departed returning to this life. Many people have said to me that such a thing was possible and seemed to believe so firmly in it that I tried to see. And I have tried in every form and know that it cannot be done. After I married, Dr. Kane would not let me refer to my old life. He wanted me to forget it.
And you know what? That's the other element that I didn't even think about, but she converted.
Mm-hmm.
And her new faith says these things are impossible.
Right. Mm-hmm. But when I was poor, after his death, I was driven to do it again. And I wish to say clearly that I owe all my misfortune to that woman, my sister. She ended with a forceful critique of spiritualism, declaring her intention to expose it from its very foundation. So she goes on to say, I loathe the thing I have been. I used to say to those who wanted me to give a seance, you are driving me into hell. Then the next day I would drown my remorse in wine. I was too honest to remain a medium.
She thinks she's going to hell because she has that ability.
Yeah. That's why I gave up my exhibitions. I have seen so much miserable deception. Every morning of my life, I have it before me. When I wake up, I brood over it. That is why I am willing to state that spiritualism is a fraud of the worst description. I have had a life of sorrow. I have been poor and ill, but I consider it my duty, a sacred thing, a holy mission to expose it.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Right there. I want to see the day when it is entirely done away with. After my sister Kate and I expose it, I hope spiritualism will be given a death blow.
And you know, I think that maybe, it sounds like maybe for her, the fact that she couldn't communicate with Kane after he died was the final blow. I don't think that's how that works, where you can just be like, hey,
Right.
I would like to talk to you. Come into the room. And, I mean, we've talked before about, like, how all of soul travel and, like, how all that works. And we talked about in the ether, like, how hauntings may be a little bit different than what people actually think.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Man. So maybe, like, she probably really loved that dude.
I know. And I think that it probably made her incredibly sad that as she was like paraded around and communicate to all these other people, she couldn't communicate to the one man she truly loved.
And I am sure if she truly was communicating with something previously, maybe she felt like because Kane or Kane's family disapproved of mediumship that he would not come to her unless she was in the religion.
Oh, I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it filled her with a lot of shame. That whole thing, like, and then for the family to be like, I don't care if you guys were married, we're not recognizing that on top of it. So she can't even publicly say she's his widow. I mean, she can, but nobody will.
But they're all like, oh, what a fraud, she's a liar.
Yeah.
Like, we never went to her wedding. Yeah.
God, that poor woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Maggie's revelations shocked the spiritualist community and gave critics lasting ammunition. Newspapers described her confession as a death blow to spiritualism. A widely read book added sensationalized claims suggesting that seances had developed into bacchanalian scenes with scantily clad women posing as spirits and even engaging in sexual orgies.
Oh, listeners, you can't see it, but I am clutching my pearls.
Yes. This beautiful new word, bacchanalian.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
Means to be wild or drunken.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. I'm like, what a great word that is. Bacchanalian.
Bacchanalian. I'm going to start using that. I'm bringing that back.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get bacchanalian this weekend.
Fuck yeah.
Kate occasionally toured repeating the accusations against spiritualism. So, to me, this part of it says, like, just another way to demean a woman.
Yeah.
So now let's make it really invalid and be like, oh, yeah, because they were all having scandalous sex and engaging in this inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
Fuck you. By 1889, however, she told a friend she believed there was now more profit in proving that the raps were not produced by their toes.
She's probably right.
So she's changing her mind now. She's saying,
oh, wait.
Yeah.
That they're not produced by toes. Sorry, I missed that part.
We're not produced by the toes.
I definitely jumped the gun on that and assumed that you were saying that she felt like there was more money in debunking what she had done than in actually continuing to do it.
No. So now she's going back and being like, wait a minute.
It's not the toes.
It's, yes. Maggie also reversed her stance and in November of 1889 publicly recanted her confession.
Mm-hmm.
In an interview with witnesses, she claimed her earlier statements had been made under pressure from opponents of spiritualisms, including influential Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you fucking call it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Stating, I gave expression to utterances that had no foundation in fact and that would at that time throw discredit on the spiritualist phenomenon.
Okay.
She largely avoided criticism.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like she, and bless her heart, because she clearly is a traumatized person who went through a very sorrowful life. Like, that is clearly
Maggie and Kate? Yeah.
That is clearly not an exaggeration. No, not Lee.
So here's what I think. I don't even...
But, like, it does kind of seem like she's flip-flopping based on...
She is flip-flopping, and I think some of it might be a little bit because the sister wrote the book, and they were like, damn, we should have wrote that book. And maybe a lot of it's out of spite to make her sister look like a liar.
Right. And I agree. Like, I think there's multiple factors that contributed to these public confessions and recantments, you know.
Can you imagine, though? I mean, the entire spiritualist movement is based off of these two girls.
Right.
So if it's fake or not, it still made a movement.
It did.
That became so much more. Mm-hmm. You know, and the tough thing for me is, like, you know, even being like a true crime junkie, you're watching like a court show or even like any kind of TV show about crime, mm-hmm. right? If someone makes a statement and then they recant it and give a different statement, you never trust what they have to say again.
No, they're, what is the word that they officially use in, like, true crime? It's, like, a non-reliable witness.
Right.
You know?
Right. So here's her saying, like, yes, we were spiritualists. No, we faked it all. And now she's coming back to be like, yeah, no, it was legit.
Yeah.
So it's like, can we believe you? But I can understand the pressure from the Catholic Church or the Catholic people in her life.
And like I mentioned, she probably put Catholic pressure on herself.
Right, because she wanted to be Catholic for her husband.
Yep.
Damn,
this is crazy.
Yes.
I had no idea about, like, any of this.
Mm-hmm. So Lee died of carditis, which is like a heart problem.
Okay. Like cardiac.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. In 1890, she was about 77, 78. Kate passed away while drinking in 1892. She was about 55. And Maggie died in poverty from heart disease in 1893 at the age of 59. That is so young, 55 and 59.
Yeah.
That is so fucking young. And then she died in poverty. Like,
that is awful after everything.
And all the people
and look at the impact that they have had. We are still here in 2026 talking about them.
Right.
And she died in poverty. That is horrifying.
Horrible. And you think about all the people that took them in and tested them.
Right.
And paraded them around.
They were circus animals.
Yeah. And then she died in poverty. Like, how fucking sad.
That's awful.
So more than 20 years after their deaths, even the outspoken defender of spiritualism, Arthur Conan Doyle, attempted to rehabilitate Maggie and Kate's reputation in the essay, The Mystery of the Three Fox Sisters.
Okay.
An analysis of their lives as a medium. This is the one that was written in 1922 that I originally came across and was like, oh shit, there's three Fox Sisters. So his essay attempts to rehabilitate the Fox's reputation by arguing that, one, the Hydesville phenomenon was genuine. Doyle argues that the original rappings heard in 1848 were real paranormal events rather than deliberate fraud. He points out several pieces of evidence.
Okay.
One, reporting that rappings occurred in the house even before the Fox family lived there.
Okay.
So there was reports that there was other things that went on. Maybe it was from the guy that supposedly murdered the peddler.
Doyle?
I don't know. Testimony from neighbors and investigators who claimed the sounds answered questions correctly. So he got like statements from people.
Okay.
And you know, the mom gave like a sworn statement. Back in the day, like if you wrote a sworn statement, that was the truth.
That was
That was absolute. Yep. There was, you know.
We gotta show them Twitter today.
Yeah. The later discovery of a human skeleton in the Hydesville house, which spiritualists believe confirmed the girl's claim that a murdered peddler's spirit was communicating.
So they did find a skeleton.
He says they did.
Or is he referring to the bone fragment?
I think he's referring to the bone fragment and the hair fragment. Because I can tell you, I read a lot of things about the Fox sisters, and I never read anything other than in this. But I don't know. Because this was written in 1922. The other things that I read were maybe more modern interpretations of things.
Yeah.
You know, refiltering information, retelling stories.
Sure.
But this is the only thing that I ever read that referred to an actual human skeleton.
Okay.
Everything else was bones and hair.
Yeah.
You know, so his conclusion on the Hydesville phenomenon was that the initial events had an objective external cause, not a trick by the children.
Okay.
Okay? And so then he also argues that the later confessions of fraud should not be trusted. In 1888, Margaret Fox publicly claimed the sisters had faked the phenomenon by cracking joints in their feet. Doyle attempts to discredit this confession by arguing the sisters were under emotional stress at the time these made these claims, and they were heavily influenced by alcohol.
Right. And spite.
Yep. Family conflicts, especially with their older sister Lee, motivated the accusations.
And I'll bet you they really wanted her to lose money on the book.
Girl, it's like you're reading my notes.
Oh!
The next one is there may have been financial incentives or pressure from critics to expose their sister in spiritualism.
Yeah.
He also notes that Margaret later retracted the confession, claiming it had been fake. Mm-hmm. He also says mediums may partly control phenomenon without fully understanding them. Doyle suggests a compromise explanation. He says the sisters might have had genuine psychic abilities. They may have learned to imitate or trigger the phenomenon themselves at times. This does not mean the original events were fraudulent. He argues that mediums often do not understand the forces producing the effects, which can lead to confusion about what is genuine and what is influenced by a medium.
Which makes total sense.
Yep. And another thing that he argues regarding their reputation is the Fox sisters were victims of circumstances. Doyle portrays the sisters sympathetically. They were young and suddenly famous. They faced constant investigation, criticism, and public pressure. And I think about that discrepancy in their ages when they were strip searched. Could you imagine being a little girl?
Yeah. Obviously, we don't know this for sure, but I honestly wonder if Lee and the parents said that they were older to avoid scrutiny on themselves.
Maybe.
Because they sent these children to live with many older men.
Right.
And their families. And again, I mean, they became circus animals of sorts.
Yeah. Exhaustion and stress from mediumship may have led to alcohol abuse and unstable behavior later in life. He frames them as a tragic pioneers of spiritualism rather than deliberate frauds.
Right.
And lastly, moral failings do not disprove psychic phenomenon. A major point that he makes is the personal weakness of mediums do not invalidate the phenomenon they produce.
Yes. I think that people absolutely, even today, cling to anything that person may have done that could be considered immoral or unethical or like outside of the standard of what you're supposed to do.
Right.
We see that all the time.
Yeah. He compares psychic abilities to musical talent, a special gift that can exist regardless of moral character. Thus, even though the sisters behaved poorly, the reality of spiritualism should not be dismissed because of it. So this is really 20 years after they died.
Right.
And he wrote this and was like, no, they're legit. You guys have to consider all of their circumstances before you go and say they're a fraud.
Right.
Which, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get it. Yeah. I just think they were exposed by their sister. She was probably the shadiest one of them all.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the other thing, too. Like, I mean, he brought up the point that, like, maybe they did occasionally fake it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They were under immense pressure to perform nightly.
Right.
And that, just because they wanted to perform nightly doesn't mean the spirits wanted to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. So, before we end this, I just want to talk about the discrepancies in their ages.
Okay.
Their mother, Margaret, had said that Kate was 12 and Maggie was 15 in her detailed statement she signed in 1848.
Mm-hmm.
In 1888, in Maggie's confession statement, she claimed that she was only 8 years old in 1848. And then some sources say their ages were 12 and 9 instead of 15 and 12. And then in 1850, a census confirms their ages as 18 and 14, which would line up with what their mom originally said. That in 1848, they were 15 and 12.
They were 15 and 12. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, I think that she, in that statement, made themselves seem younger, saying they were 8 and 6, so that way they didn't have to be as accountable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they did do fraudulent things only because of the pressure. And who knows, like, Dad was an alcoholic, and that time their mom didn't work, so maybe they were fucking supporting their family as well.
Right.
You know? So there's a lot of pressure to perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, so that's the Fox sisters.
Wow. What a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah, I feel bad for them because,
I do too.
man, they started a spiritual movement and their lives ended up just so sad. And
well, I do hope that whatever is on the other side, they were able to finally catch some peace.
Right. I agree.
Because they deserve it. Whether they faked it or not.
Absolutely. What do you think? Do you think they faked it?
I have a hard time believing that they faked it.
Okay.
I have a hard time believing that they would be able to successfully, day after day after day, fake it in the ways that she claimed they faked it.
I cannot believe that they were tapping their toes.
No.
I can believe that their sister maybe fed them information to make more money.
Sure.
But I don't believe they were really tapping their toes.
Yeah, that just seems impossible.
I feel like that would be the one thing you're watching, and especially if they were standing on pillows.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, too, is like...
But it's hard to believe someone after they...
It is. I'll give you that. But
recant what they say.
No matter if they say they were rapping on the bed frame, if they say that they were dropping an apple on the floor, if they say that they were using their toes, how do you explain being able to make these noises come from different locations in the room? How do you explain...
True.
I mean, I guess if somebody was holding the bed frame and you were rapping on it, of course they would feel the vibration.
Uh-huh.
But... I feel like that'd be the first thing that I would check. Like, get the fuck off the bed.
Yeah.
And let's see if it keeps happening.
Right, for sure.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I think they would. I'm thinking, like, what if there was a train track close by and it was vibrating? You think they would know, like, as a train's rumbling.
Right.
But, yeah. So, I don't know. I want to believe that it's real because it created such a movement. It created Lilydale. It really created what we know as medium and psychics today.
Yeah, and granted, I think there's a lot of mediums and psychics that are fake. I also
absolutely
feel that there are some that aren't.
Yes,
and
I agree.
The one good thing, silver lining, I'll say is, at the very least, the lives that these sisters led have done a great deal in allowing for us to research the spirit world and mediumship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it got people interested in it, and that was the beginning of where we are today, where many people truly, even people in Christianity and all religions, truly believe that we can communicate.
Yeah.
And I don't think that comes from two girls rapping on a bed frame.
Yes, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
So.
I think that the statements that they made were out of spite, desperation.
Yeah, and a lifetime of trauma.
A lifetime of trauma. Yeah, what do you guys think? Let us know.
Yeah.
Tell us if you think it was all fake or if they were just truly victims of circumstance.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, or if you have information that maybe we didn't come across or consider, let us know at hexhavenpodcast@gmail.com.
We hope you have a bacchanalian weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe
Go get your bacchanalia on.
Yeah. With some scantily clad women or some rent boys even.
Yeah. Some women of loose morals, perhaps.
And you know what? If you're, what is it, a teetotaler? What was...
Oh!
If you're a teetotaler,
it wasn't that. What was it?
Yeah, it was Tito
something.
Teetotaler? Yeah, teetotaler. So anyways, if you're a teetotaler or teetotaler, if that's okay too, you can still have fun with rent boys.
Yep, you can. You can.
Scantily clad women. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you,
and we will see you next time.
Yep. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye. Original theme music for Hexhaven Podcast has been written, recorded, and produced by Matt Shook.